Hi, Joni here from Evolve Family Therapy. I help stressed out parents move from constant chaos to peaceful parenting while reclaiming time for themselves and their partner. I would like to talk to you today about helping kids with meltdown. So, do you want to scream when your child has a meltdown? And if your efforts to calm your child down result in you wanting to or actually screaming, then this video is definitely for you. So, the first thing that we're going to do when we want to help our kids with having a meltdown is make sure that we first take a breath and that we notice how we're feeling. So we might have to breathe more than once, 2 or 3 times, and it would look something like this, like a and it actually is kind of hard to take a really adequate breath without making that noise, and definitely harder to model it. So don't be afraid to do that. It's really important. So you're going to take your deep breaths, and then you're going to actually pay attention to what you're feeling inside of yourself. It's super, super important to get straight with where you are and make sure that you're okay. So that way you're going to be able to think clearly and know how to help them. So, and then the next thing that we're going to want to do is to model for our child, um, how we feel, right? And we want them to observe us. So we are going to speak out loud, how we feel to our child, and they're going to watch us handle it. So another method, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but another method is to just state what we're observing in our child. So I'm going to tell you how to do both. And I actually do recommend both of them. And maybe like alternating between the two because they both teach kids different things and help them move along that process. All right. And so what you're going to do, the first one we're going to talk about is the modeling one. And in this one, this is actually my favorite. I love to use the modeling technique because it helps me to stay calm at the same time, just like when we were taking those initial breaths. And then you can also use this with children of any age, even babies and teenagers. With babies, of course, you're just, obviously setting just some groundwork. But little kids, they'll imitate, as young as a year old, they'll see you going, and then they might even like start doing that when they see you get up something. My son actually did that. He was probably about 18 months old when he started doing that back to me. So that was kind of nice. He was helping me out. So it's really, really this technique is just great because you're also regulated at the same time, so you're less likely to want to scream out as well. All right, and this is also good when kids are trying to kind of get their way. They're having a tantrum because they want you to change your mind about something. So you're going to be using this technique and you don't even really have to talk to them. You're just kind of talking out loud. So it's not like you're still engaging in that argument with them over whether or not you should give them what they want or whether or not they should be crying about it and things like that. So it's really, really helpful for that. And then, so the way it works is you're going to first comment on how your body feels. So after you've taken your deep breaths, you become aware of how you feel, then you're going to state this out loud again as if you're talking to yourself. For example, you're going to say, my heart is starting to beat really, really fast. I'm getting really hot. I'm breathing faster and I have all this energy in my arms and legs. And maybe my stomach kind of hurts or whatever it is you're feeling like in your body, the actual, like not the emotions feelings, but the feeling in your body. It's really, really important to be able to comment that and get really clear about how that's feeling. And your when you say like my heart is beating so fast, your child's going to naturally check on their heart. Like, is mine beating fast too? So as you're stating how you're feeling and you're becoming aware of how you feel and you're saying that out loud, then your child's actually becoming aware of how they're feeling. That's how you teach them to be aware of their own emotions. And then what you also want to do then is kind of add in like the emotion that might go with it, right? So you might be saying, gosh, my heart's beating really fast and I have all this energy. Like, I think I'm getting really frustrated right now, or I'm starting to feel really angry. And so then the child starts to connect like how they're the feeling to the emotion. And if they're feeling usually I'll explain a little more, they'll feel kind of the same way as you. So if they're like, oh, my heart's beating fast too. Oh, and you're getting frustrated and your face is all scrunched up and mine's all scrunched up. Like, maybe that's how I feel. So we want to go ahead and label our emotion. And again, your child will probably feel the same way, and that's part of just what makes us human beings. And like, we're so amazing that we have this ability to empathize with one another, and then to also like pass our feelings off to the next person. We don't always know like the why behind how our child feels or how anybody else feels, but we can still get the feeling, like what it physically feels like. And so it's an amazing, ability that we can evoke that in other people, and our children are really good at evoking that in us. So it's very likely that when you're feeling really frustrated, it's probably that your child was feeling really frustrated, such as when they're trying to put their shoes on and then they're really frustrated, and then you're trying to help them. And then what happens? You become really frustrated too. So, yep, they're usually going to feel pretty similar. And then you want to verbalize what you need and say it out loud. So now that we know this is how my body feels, and I think I'm feeling frustrated, then we might say what we need and then actually do it. So it might sound like this, like, I need to take a deep breath, and then, or my arms feel like they need to move. And then you might start doing arm circles. You guys can't see me do that. Or like waving them back and forth, something like that. And then you want to do it. Or you might do like lunges with your legs and things like that. Things that it'll help us. You might not always do that like in the grocery store or something as an adult, but your kids actually might need that big exaggerated movements. So yeah. And then the next thing we're going to do, or the next thing I want to let you know of, is that when you are like experiencing that intense emotion, your child also struggling with a similar emotion, they're going to be watching you to see like how you cope with it, right? So this is why this is important. This is like kind of the whole point of the whole lesson, is that they've evoked that frustration in you. They couldn't put on their shoe. They're terribly frustrated. And now you're really frustrated because you're trying to help them and nothing's working. You're trying to tell them to calm down, take a deep breath, or whatever it is, or let me help you with your shoe. No, I want to do it myself, whatever that is. Now you're super frustrated. And so they know you feel like me, and they sit back and they watch like, what does mom do when she's frustrated? Right? How does dad handle that when he's frustrated? Right? Because they don't know how to handle it. They haven't learned yet how to regulate their emotions. And so they're watching you. So if you're able to pay attention, like, oh, I'm getting really frustrated, and comment, like, my heart's beating really fast, I'm really getting tense, I have all this energy, like, I think I'm feeling really frustrated, I just need to take a deep breath, let me do some lunges, like things like that, then they start saying, oh, I could try that next time too. So plus you're getting calm, and then you're evoking that emotion in them as well. So, yep, really, really cool stuff. And then a tip on how to do this is that you want to like exaggerate, how your facial expressions, your tone of voice, and your movements. So everything needs to be like bigger because kids have less ability to regulate their emotions. So it's going to need to be bigger. Plus, we also, since we're modeling it, we want them to really see us and for it to be clear, because it's going to be hard for them to notice some of the subtle changes in us. So if we're frustrated, we might go, I'm so frustrated, and really make that facial expression matter. I'm so sad, I can't do it, or I'm disappointed, or something like that. Like, I drop my eyes straight, or you're like, I'm mad. She won't give me my toy back. I'm so mad, and you want to really let them see that feeling. You don't want to be like out of control, of course, but just you want the level to match how you feel, but you want your face to really show it and your voice to really show it, rather than kind of like be trying to hide it. And then if let's say one of your coping skills is like rocking, how like babies actually like to rock, well, little kids like it too. So, or swaying like back and forth, that kind of thing. And if that's one of the things that you're using, you want to make sure it's really clear that you're really like kind of like rocking, like really good. Or if you're doing the arm circles, they're really big, or the breathing is, like, or just make sure that you don't go too fast. You're not exaggerating how are going, or like holding your breath too long, or like anything like that. Make it a good breath, but just make sure they can see it and they can hear it. So that way they're really like can be aware, and you're doing it like at the level that they might need to do it. Yep. And then now let's talk about that second method I was talking about. There's some similarities, only you're not using yourself, you're actually using them and what they're going through. So this one is good for like let's say your kids like playing outside, you're out there, and then they I don't know, they break something or they get hurt or like whatever, their feelings are hurt. It has nothing to do with you. They just need you, and so you're trying to emotionally support them, but you also want to teach them something at the same time, and you want to try to avoid it from being like a full-blown tantrum. So this method is that they're going to be having like they're always having the feelings, but you're not going, instead of commenting on your own feelings, you're going to be commenting on their feelings and what you observe them doing. Alrighty. And okay, so it's kind of similar. You're going to comment as the other one, only with them. You're going to comment on what you can see and hear them do, and then or you see in them, and then you're going to like make some loose like assumptions about it to help them become aware of their feelings and to like organize their feelings. For example, you might say, "Oh, I see that your face is all scrunched up like this. It looks like you're frustrated, or your voice is really loud. You seem to have so much energy in your body. Maybe your brain is telling your arms that you need to move, your arms and legs to move. Maybe your brain is saying, I need to move. I have all this energy. I just need to be loud," or, something like that. So you're